very possible that within the last day or so you've seen either here on YouTube, over on Twitter, Reddit, wherever it may be, some discussion about Treyarch's next title. While nothing is in any way, shape, or form confirmed, there was a little bit of information that did pop up that might be the very first hint at what we could see for Call of Duty 2018, and while I'm not necessarily the biggest fan about talking about things this early on, it is interesting to think about, and I want to give my piece and my little 2 cents here on the idea and topic of a modern day shooter for the theoretical Black Ops 4. Now, of course, probably won't be called Black Ops 4, but just to keep the naming relative and easy to understand, that's what we'll designate it for right now. So where this stems from is actually a job listing that Treyarch posted. David Vonderhaar himself even tweeted out, but if you take a look at that job listing, underneath the "you'll really get our attention if you have" category, there's a bunch of different things here that are standard, of course some things that are kind of whimsical, like a Prestige 1 or above in Black Ops 3 multiplayer, but the key portion is a deep knowledge base of firearms and modern military technology. Now immediately this got everybody talking about the possibility of a modern era shooter for Call of Duty 2018, that theoretical Black Ops 4, and this is where I want to start a little bit of a discussion because this is really intriguing to me. Firstly, one thing that really plays heavily into this is the fact that we've had boots on the ground practically confirmed for the next 3 years by Activision out of a different few interviews in which it basically detailed that they recognized the satisfaction of players was down based off of this thruster movement era that happened in the past 3 years of Call of Duty. So while we probably won't be going back to that anytime soon, the next 3 years look to be laid out to that classic COD feel at least. So more so over 4, 5, and 6 years, still very possible boots on the ground. We don't see that sort of air quote innovation in Call of Duty again. Combine that with the fact that we also have that, once again, modern vibe given to us immediately there within the job description, it's interesting to see where this might go. Now, I'm also very curious to see if this is in fact the case because it's the only era that Treyarch has not done yet. And I think that it's personally very nice to see a studio cover the bases and not do something that they're particularly used to, maybe go out of their comfort zone a little bit here with that, though while in developmental processing and all that sorts of stuff, it is relatively the same thing, just a different thematic set of design choices, but in order for them to do something new, essentially for them, going into new waters is a great way to do it. So I'd definitely be interested to see how this plays out, how they can tackle a modern version of Call of Duty. But realistically, when I see this come down to it, if this were to be taken literally, if this was our first legitimate hint as to what we'll be seeing in Call of Duty Black Ops 4, once again, symbolically naming the game as such, probably won't be called that, but still, once again, if we keep that modern description given to us and really hold that down to the ground as a true fact, theoretically, I see this going 3 different ways that it could possibly go. 2 of which are actually kind of plausible, and maybe 1 not so much, but we'll throw it out there just to cover the bases. First one, of course, being simply a modern era, a current warfare situation, either covering something that happened within the last 10 years or maybe even up to this current point in time, but it could be focused on the conflicts going on in the world around us at the very point in time. It could be a close future situation, very similar to Black Ops 2, in which it once again is something that is in, say, about 15 years time or so in the future. A war is taking place in that point, and it drives home some of those characteristics that we're still used to, though, in seeing in modern days, so therefore it uses modern day military technology still, or maybe even going as far off as to saying a crazy theory in which it's a little bit farther in the future, but it's something of a little bit of a post-apocalyptic situation, whereas perhaps in a dystopian future or something like this, weaponry that we knew of that was so far advanced has been wiped off the board, and we have to go backwards to a modern day era of what we know, but what to that storyline could be air quote ancient, or some sort of weaponry that's just been long forgotten, or something that has just been outclassed so they don't use it anymore. So I think there's a couple of different ways that this could go. Once again, obviously some more plausible than others, but it's interesting nonetheless. So that said, with that information at hand, I'd love to get your thoughts and feedback here on this. What do you guys think? Because it is very early, and I am so much so looking forward to World War II, but when these sorts of things pop up, it's really intriguing to me because it might be a hint, it might not be. I guess we'll see in time, but Love to hear your thoughts down there in the comment section down below. Do you think it will be a modern day era and Treyarch will be tackling that last bits of where they need to cover in terms of diversifying themselves in the eras that they can create games in? Or what do you think? Love to hear your thoughts down there in the comment section down below. But hopefully you guys did enjoy, and if you guys did, make sure you drop a like down below. And of course, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe to stay up to date with everything we have here regarding Call of Duty World War II. And of course, later down the line, don't get your hopes up just yet for it, but we'll be covering Call of Duty 2018 as well at some points. But if anything Call of Duty related interests you, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a beat. And finally, if you guys want to follow me over on Twitter, that is the best place to get Cactus outside of YouTube. I practically live on Twitter, so if you guys want to check out a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, link is down there in the description below. But all that said and out of the way, hope you guys have a fantastic day. Thanks so much for watching. Mine has been Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.